From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And you know it's Wednesday, so I got my man in here with me today, and no other than the man himself, sports agent, radio host aficionado, Mike Abadir. What's going on, Mike?
You know, my back is killing me today. I know I say that all the time. So today I'm kind of in my lazy slouch mode, but I'm still going to bring all the energy to this edition of the show.
You already
100%.
know. You already know, Mike, and I'm gonna get on you quick. What's up with your Royals, man? They're back to being plus 150s again, or better. You like them with the? I like them with the value though.
Hey man,
like
the Royals.
Like,
The Royals went up against a really tough pitcher last night in Brandon Woodruff. Pulled out a shutout win against the Brew Crew.
Right.
First game, Christian Yelich has been back after activation. It was a good win last night for the Royals.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they've stunk up the joint over the last 2 weeks. There's no debating that.
Right. Because the thing is, you know, it happens. That's what we're dealing with when it comes down to this. And I'm telling you right now, this should be, you know, still a very, very good season, man, for everybody. This is a parity year, in my opinion, in baseball, because there's a lot of new elements that we're walking into in baseball, where you might have the DH for the whole playoff, things like that. And, you know, now teams are making moves and things of that nature. So things work out very well when it comes down to baseball. But we'll get into that in a moment. We're talking playoff basketball, and I got to get your opinion on the play-in, because the play-in just seems so terrible. And as you can see, the experiment was a dud last night because the Hornets weren't even in the ball game last night. Mike, they lost by 27 points. At one point, they was down 40. Come on, Silver.
The Washington Bullets got crushed too.
Right. And my thing
is Wizards, or whatever the hell they're called.
Right. And my thing is if you needed the extra 10 games, why don't you just add the extra 10 games? Because, you know, they got to suffice Fox and all these local networks like Comcast, things like that. You know what I'm talking about, Mike. These sports networks that have exclusive rights to home games, road games for a lot of these NBA teams. So they have to play 41 games because they paid for 41 games. You know what I mean? And I think the NBA is trying to make sure that they can get their national games in as well, too, because a lot of these local markets took back their games. Like the Lakers literally were always playing on 787 all season long, Spectrum. It didn't matter if they was on TNT or ESPN. Usually TNT has an exclusive right to the game. Nobody else has it but them. But no, that did not work out this year. So what's your thoughts on that real quick?
Well, I mean, here's the funny thing. When you're talking about the play-in game, it seems like they're a copycat of MLB.
Right.
MLB from professionals in the professional sporting ranks started the play-in, you know, one game elimination type thing. You know, so it's a ripoff of baseball. It's kind of funny because you don't really see the NBA ripping baseball off on very much, but this time they did. The other thing I was going to say is that shouldn't a play-in game be between the two final seeds? Like in baseball, it's between the final two teams, literally, record-wise. So shouldn't it be between like 8 and 9 seeds in basketball, and that's it?
Right. So why?
I mean, there should be one literally one playoff game win and you're in to get to the 8th seed. 8,
Right.
9, 8 wins or 9 wins. Boom, your playoff field is finalized. The series is start on Thursday for the playoffs. You do this game on Monday. It's done. Now your playoff field is set.
Right.
You want one game has intensity. The more you add, it's no longer a play-in game. It's just like a weird after the season little tournament that you're creating.
Right. And it turns into the Oprah situation, like, you got a playoff spot, you got a playoff spot, you got a playoff spot, you got a playoff spot. And it's like, dude, you didn't earn that. You're 33 and 39 on the season. There's no – you shouldn't be here. You're the 10th seed. You're 10th seed for a reason. You're the 9th seed. You're 9th seed for a reason. You know what I mean? Because – and you're 6 games behind the other team. That's what I don't like. Like, okay, so if we let this team sneak in through the back door, then this is going to dissatisfy a team that literally beat you in the standings to the playoffs. So it's a dumb idea, as LeBron said. But, everybody was like, well, LeBron was with it when he wasn't a part of it. You know what I mean? But sometimes LeBron over talks, I think, you know what I mean? And that's has been a big problem with him for a very long time. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes he doesn't really look at the bottom line of things until it's too late. And that happens with a lot of people. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much
he feels he kind of needs to speak about every single issue. You know what I mean? Right. Orphans in orphans in Southeast Asia, and he'll have like a big opinion about it. You know what I mean? Like I respect the guy, but generally speaking, I don't like it when people are talking about issues that they're not well versed on or wishy-washy in their positions. You know, and I think you nailed it. LeBron is all for it when he's not involved in a negative way. And now, he's kind of like, oh, well, So that's just LeBron for you, I don't like it, man.
Right.
I don't like it. It should just be the 8 and 9 seeds playing for that one final playoff spot.
Right.
It would be more meaningful, Pop.
Right.
Like people would watch that game. I didn't watch no Hornets, whatever, last night.
Right.
You know what I mean? I kind of like the Celtics a little bit, so I watched a little bit of that. I kept an eye on the score.
Right.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man.
I'm telling you right now, it's hard to listen to LeBron because he's really just has a high school education. You've been playing basketball for a very long time. You know what I mean? And I haven't heard any time where he said, okay, I went over here to Ohio State and finished up my degree, or I went and got a master's. Pretty much, I don't know, man. I think maybe that might be something that he might want to look into when he gets done playing basketball.
Look, I understand what you're saying, and I think that makes a lot of sense. There are a lot of people who didn't go to college who are very, very smart people,
right,
and entitled to have an opinion. So my beef is he seems to have an opinion about everything, everything,
right,
and he kind of goes with some trendy opinions. He kind of sides with the trendy opinions. He doesn't necessarily think for himself very much. You want a guy that thinks for himself, man. A great representative of the free thinkers is Russell Okung. Remember that lineman from the Seattle Seahawks, All-Pro? Man, smart. This brother is really smart. He was the first one to say, I want to get paid in Bitcoin. And he did it. He got his NFL payment in Bitcoin. And then it skyrocketed up. Smartest man in the room.
Yes, that's what you got to be. And do you see the difference? Man goes to school. He gets around. See, it's not about going to college and getting your book on. It's about going to college and getting connections.
It's the experience and the connections, yeah.
This is why when you used to talk, this is why I'm so mad at Duke now. Duke's recruiting all these big superstar high school players. No, you go get guys that belong at Duke so they can stay there for 3 years. They get with these guys trying to be corporate 500 guys. When you're done playing, you become a product placement for that company. You get yourself a high position with that company because your best friend from the dorm took care of you. He's always been over there getting you good sponsorship deals. He's doing all the groundwork for you. So when your career is over with, I got my buddy over here, Grant. He'll come on in and he'll help us out a little bit. Come on, Christian Laettner was out the league a year later. He could have bought a team. He had a group ready to buy the Memphis Grizzlies. Come on, dude. You see,
man, you are making a very fascinating point,
right?
And an angle that I hadn't necessarily thought of. In a way, with all this social consciousness in the world around us, one can make an argument that it's the socially responsible thing to do, because getting somebody into the NBA isn't going to help the community he came from,
right?
The neighborhood he came from, but producing people in like corporate jobs who can bring in their friends from that community, and now that can multiply, that would be way more impactful. So I think you're looking at it from a very, very interesting lens, and one that not enough people are really thinking about or talking about.
Right, because they don't want you to think about the back end of the situation, Mike. You know what I mean? Everybody's not a 20-year player like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Magic and have these long, great careers where you're going to be in the All-Star game every year and everybody idolizes you and blah, 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 blah. You got the Jamal Mashburns of the world who were great, caught an injury or so too, but they were always good players in the league. But when they got done with basketball, they go back to these friends. Oh, buddy, you own KFC. You own a KFC over here in Lexington. Oh, and you own a Papa John's as well too. Hey, I want to get into that. Now the man literally has 30. I think he has about 30 KFCs, dozen Burger Kings, Papa John's, and he's one of the more wealthier NBA players out of that's in retirement right now. You won't see him on broke. Okay, that's all I can say. You know what I mean? But then you got other guys that listen to friends and they make these bad investments in a barbecue joint or some type of ice cream shop. Andre Rison told you himself. Guy comes into the room and says, hey, man, I got this great idea. I got this yogurt shop. Andre Rison said he walked into the room and knew he lost $60,000 right there on the spot. As soon as he walked into the establishment, because he knows what's going on there. They ain't going to be selling no yogurt here because we're in the wrong demographic for that. You know what I mean?
And then he invested in some crappy NASCAR team too.
Right. And this goes from listening to people that literally have no research, no knowledge on what they're about to do. They just are good at buttering you up. That's it.
I'll tell you what a lot of the athletes do, by the way, slightly off topic here or running with this current topic, but they invest in studios. What's that? I said they invest in recording studios. That's what they do all the time.
Of course.
Thinking that they're going to churn out the next big hit. You really think that you're going to be able to go up against these big labels?
Right. It's an electricity bill for me.
Exactly. Look, here's what a lot of these guys think, and I know how they think because I've listened to them and had to advise them. Even though I'm not a financial advisor per se, I can still give an opinion. The way a lot of them think is that all you need is money. And that if you put money in the studio, cool, you're going to make money. But that's not the way it works. Throwing money at something does not result in success.
Right.
There's not and no guarantee for success. You could pump more money into it and continue to lose. And so that's kind of the bigger issue here, is that a lot of people just think that if they have the money and they put it towards a certain specific type of investment, to me, that's not even an investment. It's completely speculative. You might as well go to Santa Anita, right, and do a big Exacta box and hope you connect. At least you'll get to find out in a minute and 20 seconds. What's that?
I said, and sit with me and you'll be okay.
Exactly.
Look, and I know I'm interrupting, but look, you just brought up horse racing, and this is once again off topic. We're going to change the gears up in a moment, but just real quick, a good friend of mine is over at Hollywood Park Casino. He goes into the OTB room that's still there. You know what I mean? And he says, "Hey man, I need one." So I go into TVG. I look at Canterbury Park, and I say, "Take the one horse in the third race." Horse winds up going off at 7-2, and he hits me back like, "I should have put more money on it, but yeah, thanks for the win bet." So, sometimes I can just look at the form, and there you go. There you go. Got yourself a winner.
Canterbury was on fire last night, by the way.
I like
There was
Canterbury.
a guy on Twitter. He was alive. What's that?
I like Canterbury.
There was a guy that was alive to pick 5 the whole pool yesterday on Twitter. He was alive to 3 numbers, the 4, 8, and 9. Watch the race, the 12 one. The 12 one. His numbers finished 3rd. He would have taken $109,000. My whole thing is, why are you announcing it for all the haters to give you their hateful mojo in that?
Right.
Wait until you win at least.
Right. Exactly.
He was just too excited. He couldn't help himself. But for me, I don't even talk about my will pays at all. At all. I'm superstitious like that, man.
Hey, it's like a no-hitter, bro. Don't say anything. You know
exactly.
what I mean? And when we get to the phrase,
and don't say you got it around the clubhouse turn.
Right.
Don't say you got it with 200 yards to go.
Right.
Just wait till the damn finish line. And even when it hits the finish line, can you hold off until it goes official, please? That's a little bump back at the 8th bowl, right?
Right. You bring it back, Matt, bad memories now. Rainy days in Santa Anita with 6-1. Gio Madden, I always remember that race. But I digress. Let's go ahead and talk about the Brodie. The Brodie gets a second chance at the playoffs. And he has Beal back as well, too. I really like the story on this team this year, Mike. I think that after a miserable start to the season, they're now in a playing game. And pretty much I feel they deserve to be the AFC, but they have to win the game first. But what are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I mean, good story overall. I wouldn't say it's necessarily good for basketball like the Knicks. I mean, when's the last time that we had the Knicks and the Celtics in the playoffs at the same time? Right? And the Sixers, old school teams. But you asked about Washington. Look, Bradley Beal, he averaged, 31 points a game or something like that? I mean, crushed it this year. I don't know if that netted him the scoring title, but I mean, I know he was way up there, right?
Steph got it by a couple points.
Okay.
Yeah, but Brad Beal, to me, was he should have been considered an MVP candidate this season.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And Russell Westbrook is a triple-double machine.
Yes.
Right? He averaged a triple-double, right? Averaged 22 points, 11 boards, almost 12 assists. Even 1.4 steals a game. So, I mean, this team is talented. They just needed to get into the playoffs. I think the East is more formidable than it has been in years, man.
The East is running deep this year, and the West is running light this year. And honestly, it's when you're dealing with LeBron, it's LeBron's world. It's that simple. And you're all living in it when it comes to the conference that he's in. When he's in the Eastern Conference, it was LeBron's world, and you living with it in it. The second year with the Lakers in the Western Conference, it's turned into the same. Now we're in the second, third seasons with LeBron. Now it's turned into the same situation because at the end of the day, the Lakers are getting healthier when everybody else is starting to get into nagging injuries. Utah, Phoenix did so much during the season, constantly winning, constantly killing it. And then end of the year, they got key players out in each game. Now they have to get themselves back into the rotation, and they don't know that they're playing they're playing with more expectations. And I don't know if they're prepared for that part. And I think Phoenix The only thing working for them is that they have Chris Paul at this point in time. But Chris Paul can't play LeBron and AD by himself. I know Devin Booker is going to be there. He's going to do what Devin Booker does. But at the end of the day, though, the Lakers have the two most dominant players in that side, on the west side. It's that they're different from the Brodie and Beal. Brodie and Beal, when you have two great guards, you can kill it and still lose. But when you have a dominant 3 and a dominant 4 and just some really good players around them, you can take the world. And that's how I feel when it comes to it. And this is not being a Laker homer or anything of that nature. It's just the facts that are on the wall.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just the facts that are on the
well
wall.
Said.
And a lot of people just have to understand that part. But I really root for the Brodie and the Beal. I'm calling them the Brodie and the Beal. It sounds like an NBC sitcom that might be 5 episodes. So
yeah. It's been canceled.
Brodie and the Beal Wednesday nights at 8:30. All right, let's go ahead and talk some horse racing. Last week, congratulations to Michael McCarthy, Ron Bauer. You know, Michael McCarthy is a Santa Anita guy, but he wins, but he's not the Bob Bafferts, the John Sadlers, the Peter Millers, the Richie Baltuses of the world at Santa Anita, but he always has quality horses. He always has a quality horse that they spend a lot of money on. He has, you know, a certain group of owners, but they're not cheap owners. You know what I mean, Mike? They're owners that actually put money into the race. So we want to send a shout out to Mike because Mike deserved that, and that was a beautiful moment. But Bob Baffert has been barred by the New York Racing Association, can't enter horses into the Belmont Stakes, and will not be a part of the Saratoga meet this year. And the Saratoga meet is huge for Bob because you know he always sends something out there to get that Breeders' Cup invite. And this is going to be tough. And I'm starting to really kind of feel bad for Baffert in a sense because I think that the situation is starting to get a little bit too overblown. And now, once again, there's a big-ass black eye on horse racing, and they do not deserve that at all. Just because one person. Everybody has to see this is what's wrong with today's sports world. They're so busy thinking about the human element, and they just really need to think about who the athlete truly is, and that's the horse. You know what I mean? And as you said on my show prior, he didn't put enough in the horse to this is a situation that's in Kentucky. If this would have happened in California, it wouldn't have been nothing because it's just a little bit, and it probably wasn't going to make a difference, and that's what they would have determined. But it seems like somebody in the racing world has a hard-on for him after losing some other trainers such as Jorge Navarro, Jason Service, and now Linda Rice is out for 3 years as well, too. And these people were big winners. And it feels like they're saying, let's all be on a fair ground. But when you got $1 million horses, $1 billion owners, you're going to have the best of the best. You're getting the complaints from the guys that are in 12-5 claimers and things of that nature. Guys that will never really be in a Kentucky Derby. Yeah, it's messed up and everything like that. But you got to have the competition. The competition is always there, Mike. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what they put in the horse. It's like baseball. It didn't matter if David Segui took roids and hit 40 home runs one season. The next season, he was terrible. You know what I mean? Because he was never that good of a player. If you're not that good of a horse, it's not going to make a difference when you win 2 or 3 races in a row on the juice, and then you juice up and then go against everybody else juiced up, and you finish dead last. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to say anything negative about the horse racing game, but we know, Mike, me and you both know this, that there's a lot that goes on in them barns. You know what I mean? And some people are and see, this is what pisses me off because these is the trainers that actually care and love the horses, and they send them off to great pastures and things. And the people complaining are the same people that be sending these horses to kill lines and stuff like that. So what's your 2 cents on that?
Del Mar is the big winner.
Yeah.
They're the big winner out of all this. Del Mar is probably like, thank you very much. We'll take all of Baffert's stock. He'll fill all our big races. Thank you.
Right.
Look, the reality of this is that Baffert didn't violate any California rules.
Right.
Straight and simple. He
Right.
didn't violate any California rules.
Right. And
he's in California.
Right.
His horses are in California. What the hell's New York doing getting involved?
Right. Like what competition is New York trying to be in? You know what I mean? Because the thing is, they already have people in place that are. And see, this is a good question from our man Brendan Gibbons right now, Viva Promotions. He just asked us, should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame, even though since he was on the juice, or he shouldn't? Dude, we both know Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, without a doubt, need to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care what they did, because this is later on in their career, and this is not going to judge the factors of the phenomenal players that they were when they stepped into the league and changed the whole structure of what baseball.
Man, how's Mike Piazza in the Hall of Fame and not Barry Bonds?
Exactly. And Mike Piazza, we both noticed that, boy, you was buff in LA, but you got to New York, slimmed down a little bit, you know what I mean? And you started doing other things, but there was, what you was doing, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because he never hit as many home runs as he did in LA. It does not matter what anybody says. Mike was killing in LA. And he was a 40th round pick. So how do you get to the MLB that way? That was a Tommy Lasorda's my people's, and he let me go ahead and we drafted him on some honorary stuff. We didn't even think he's gonna make it to Vero Beach. You know what I mean? So, and you're a catcher.
Yeah.
Looking like one of the guys off of SNK All Stars. You know what I mean? One of the buff guys up at the SNK All-Star baseball game. You know what I mean? So it was, at the end of the day, you say Piazza's in there. Barry Bonds, it will be in the Hall of Fame. It's a matter of time. That's what I'm saying. Because if you're thinking about Mark McGwire going in there, you got to get Barry in there as well, too. Because Mark was a 6-time cheater. It's just, wow.
At least with Mark, it's a little bit more obvious, right? Because he was declining big time. He was like a 190 hitter and then turned things around.
Right.
Barry Bonds never declined.
Right.
He was the best and just got invincible.
Right.
Yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Bob Baffert should be in the Hall of Fame.
Isn't he already?
Bob Baffert, I think he is.
Yeah.
Bob Baffert is the best trainer in the world.
When you know how to take care of other people's money, you're golden. You know that much. You know that. All right. So, you know what? Let's get off the controversy stuff. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to get back and talk some baseball, Mike. All right?
Sounds good.
We're going to talk some Blue Crew Daily, and we'll get into these 6 baseball games that I've chosen out. All right. So with that, you guys check out HatClub.com. You guys can go ahead and get yourself situated. Get that drip. You guys get 10% off on any $50 order or better. Once again, that's HatClub.com. Get that drip. We're going to go ahead and get Micah probably one of those lemonade Kansas City Royals hats as well, too. Eventually. And so, you guys check them on out, HatClub.com, another proud sponsor of the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, and I'll be right back to you. The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And actually, the Dodgers went ahead and won their game last night, actually 9-1. So pretty much, I know we got the fixture for this one, so let's see how it goes. Yep, Dodgers won their game 9-1, ignited by a late inning grand slam by Gavin Lux, who's another top end prospect for the Dodgers, looking to be their new second baseman, sometimes shortstop, sometimes third. The Kike Hernandez's replacement in a sense, but I like Sintinsky. He's a good player. Number 8, he's hurt right now, but he's a really good player. But Gavin Lux is a power hitter. It looks really good when he's doing it as well too. Hit a monster grand slam last night, Mike. That was literally, you knew it was gone the moment he hit it as well too. And that put the Dodgers over the top. And so I'm telling myself, damn, the Dodgers got another one in my DJ Khaled voice. You know what I mean? It's just the Dodgers wish they would have had this success in the 90s when they had Mondesi and Piazza and Karros and Hollingsworth and one of my favorites, Tim Wallach. Tim Wallach's son was actually traded by the Dodgers to in that Grandal deal when they did that deal with the Marlins years ago, getting rid of a good leadoff man and D. Gordon. But actually, at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do, right, Mike? Because your team became a different team at that point. They stopped being the Dodgers, oh, let's hustle it up and try to get runs by getting extra base hits, to becoming the power Dodgers, where literally we'll hit 4 home runs in an inning as the game's over. Because they're a power team now. The Dodgers were never a power team. They were always a power pitching team, solid hitting team. And now since they became a Yankee-type situation where they have owners that do not care how much money that they're spending on people, they became that team. But let me just give you a little bar of something that is very helpful for the Dodgers right now. I'll let you interject. Albert Pujols has been here for 2 games, and the Dodgers have totally changed the whole face of they needed that. They needed a veteran that's been there, done. They have a legend in the dugout. I don't think the Angels realized they had a legend in the dugout all these years, because they had Trout. Trout's awesome. You would think that they would be the Bash Brothers 2.0, blah, 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 blah. But the wisdom of Albert Pujols is why the Dodgers signed him. It's not about him coming out hitting 30, 40 home runs. We don't expect him to do that. But the way that he approaches every pitcher when they come out the game, gives them a little, pat on the back, couple little jokes. That's what keeps breeding wins. You know what I mean? Keeps guys confident. Will Smith was in the slump. Now you got Albert Pujols sitting next to him. The boy's hitting the ball everywhere. You know what I mean? So this is 2 games, and the Dodgers have won their last 12-2. But I digress, because again, it's the Diamondbacks and they're terrible. So
did you see the press conference?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch, but I watched it.
So the one thing that Pujols said that stuck with me was he's willing to play any role that the Dodgers ask him to, whether it's off the bench, pinch hitter, starter, it don't matter. He said, I'm here for the Dodgers. I'm thankful for this opportunity, and I relish the opportunity to mentor the younger players.
Right.
And this isn't Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Right. Saying, I'm not going to groom. It's not my job to groom the next quarterback. Right. This is more like the Dolphins quarterback, Fitzgerald.
Right.
Right. I'm going to work with Tua. And who better to have than Albert Pujols? Like you said, a legend. I think I underestimated it when the signing was done.
Me too.
I was like, he's like a 200 hitter. He'll hit a home run once a week. That's that. But his presence in the lineup, he's back in the National League.
Right.
He's going to be St. Louis Cardinals, Pujols. But I think he can be a difference maker for the Dodgers.
Right. And it goes to show you how classy of an organization that the Cardinals are as well, too, because they breaded that player, Albert Pujols. But when Albert got there, he was with a lot of veterans. Because everybody doesn't understand is Albert Pujols was a gem that they found. You know what I mean? Literally, the Kansas City Royals passed on him and literally handed him to the Cardinals. You see the differences in franchises, you know what I mean? Because if you put them on the Royals, they might have the same success as the Cardinals had while Pujols was there. And a lot of people don't understand Pujols actually used to play outfield. He used to play third base as well, too, before he moved over to first base because Mark McGwire was still there at the time in his final years when Pujols had arrived. You know what I mean? And Pujols was at first a very adequate hitter, but he was a big-time team player. But that unit, Tony La Russa, keeping everybody just calm, cool, and collective. And you know why I say that they're a class act franchise? Because when David Freese came over to the Dodgers, he was a class act as well, too. And he was a good mentor to a lot of the younger players. Mm-hmm. Success in St. Louis, because that's how they do it. They communicate with that team. There is no ego there. And that's why Albert Pujols coming to the Dodgers is such a great fit. I think there was too many egos in that locker room with the Angels. That's why they could never get over the top, because Artie keeps signing all these good players, all these top free agents, but they just don't mix well with the team. And I always go back to Josh Hamilton being signed, and that's exactly the day that the Angels went to absolute garbage, because they signed a guy who had no business signing with them. They didn't. The red flags were everywhere. Why are you leaving Texas all of a sudden? Oh, because you don't want to be babysat anymore. I can be good on my own, but then they unleash you to Santa Ana, and then it's over. It's over. Now, you know that great story that he had, it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean? Josh Hamilton, it doesn't matter anymore because you relapse badly. And I know, and you're not going to get my compassion this second time around. I only give one chance to these athletes. You know what I mean? And that guy had 16 chances. You feel what I'm saying? I was glad to see him get back. The Reds tried, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, no. You know what I mean? But all in all, the Dodgers are the topic, and I just really do feel like Pujols got these guys playing, and he got some motivated again. They needed somebody there that needed to pump up their spirits a little bit. You know what I mean? You got a lot of guys hurt right now, and they're the core guys that are usually in the dugout, fooling around, having a good time and stuff like that. So it's good to have Albert here to, be that guy, be David Justice for Moneyball. I don't want you for what you used to be. I want you for what you are right now, Albert. And that's exactly what the Dodgers did, making that move as well, too. And they had the Padres to that move as well. Don't act like the Padres weren't looking at that, or the Giants. Think about it.
The Giants could really use them.
If you had Mike Abadir as an agent, you already know all three of those teams would have been calling your phone. Mike would have picked the Giants, though. I know Mike. Mike would have been like, "Yeah, we're gonna take you up here to you're going to the Giants, buddy."
Or the A's. Yeah, how about the A's? Burn their division rival.
The A's,
the Angels.
That would be spiteful, taking them to the A's, man. But a greedy agent would have took him to somewhere where he could have made the most dollars at, probably like take him to Arizona.
Yeah.
He would have retired in a month.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get into the base. Let's get into the money, Mike. Let's get into the money. Money, Mike. All right, so Marlins, Phillies, plus 110. Phillies Minus 135. Over under 7.5 tonight. We got Zach Eflin on the mound for the Phillies, and we have Pablo Lopez on the mound for the Marlins tonight. Mike, what are you thinking here? I'm sorry, Trevor Rogers. 5-2, 1.84 ERA, 57 strikeouts, over 17 walks. What do you think of that?
Trevor Rogers actually has been terrific, man.
Yeah.
He's been really, really good. Zach Eflin's been pretty good too. This is a good matchup. It's probably a no-touch matchup. The Marlins aren't that good on the road. And the Phillies have been a really, really good home team. So the temptation here is to take the Phillies. If I had to take a side, I'd take the Phillies. But for me, this is kind of a no-touch.
Okay. I'm with you. And I think that this one right here really kind of calls for you to say, okay, you know what? If you can't touch a side, you can go ahead and actually do a scoreboard watch here. And I think that can work here. And I know it looks like that it should look like an under game, but games like this usually have scoring involved in it. So I like the over in this spot, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it shakes out, see how it goes. 7.5 runs is very reachable. Let's get a 5-3 finish, Mike. That's what
I like it.
That's what I'm looking for, brother. All right, we move on to the AL East matchup here, and we got the Boston Red Sox going against the no home Blue Jays. I'm not calling them Toronto until they go back to the Sky Dome, and yeah, I still call it Sky Dome. It hasn't been called
the Sky Dome
in 20 years, but I'm from the era, man, when they won that those back-to-back championships, and it was Sky and live from the Sky Dome, Bob Costas. You know what I mean? So I just always think Sky Dome and Joe Carter hitting that walk-off on Wild Thing.
What a team, man.
And my dad hit the squares that night.
Nice.
On that. He hit the squares that night. He was jumping higher than Joe that night when Joe hit that home run. So, you know, it's called that's why that game's so memorable.
Roberto Alomar, Ricky Henderson, Paul Molitor. What an all-star team, man.
All-star team. Like, literally, you could have the last 5 years of all-star games, they literally had every single player that participated in it.
Absolutely.
The only player that they had that probably was just a good role player for the team was the catcher. That's it.
Was that Pat Borders?
Yeah, Pat Borders. And Pat Borders actually played in the All-Star game as well, too.
Yeah.
I think, from what I remember. But
speaking of All-Stars, the Red Sox are going to have some All-Stars this year.
Well,
they're going up today against Ross Stripling, who we know very well here in Los Angeles, and he's just off to a terrible start, man. He's not locating. And he's serving him up. Garrett Richards, we also know from SoCal, he's kind of reinvented himself a little bit. He's off to a nice little start for the Red Sox, filling in the 3 or 4 starter role. The Red Sox are phenomenal on the road, man. 12-6. And like you mentioned, the Blue Jays have no home field advantage.
Right.
The play here is the Boston Red Sox, because you're actually getting some value on the plus side.
And you know what? I concur, as they would say, you know, in the smart table of the school. You know what I mean? I concur with that because I'm taking the plus 105 as well, too. I feel like odds makers made the mistake today and said, okay, I'm going to give you some value with Boston today because I'm going to make you guys really think that the Blue Jays got a shot here. And I think that Boston absolutely rose in this bad boy today.
They got the wrong team favored.
Yeah, they got the wrong team favored, but it's okay. I take that plus money all day. You got to catch him slipping, Mike. I always tell him that.
Exactly.
Catch him slipping. That's it, and that's all. But I guarantee that this game goes down to minus 105 on each side by the time we get to the first pitch. You know, because this is an early morning situation when I put up the lines here for the graphics. This is not going to be the end-all, be-all determination of it. But if you're the early bird that gets the worm, then you get the plus money on his side. But if you try to get the bet in 5 minutes before the game even starts, then you're going to wind up being on the minus side. That's how I feel, Mike.
No doubt about it, man.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's get into the arch rival of the Boston Red Sox and a team that actually has a beautiful stadium, the Texas Rangers. As I told you guys before, when I was in Dallas, I was able to go to a baseball game there, and I really do like that park. The Dodgers liked it so much they won a World Series there. So we have the Yankees minus 175 today. You got the Rangers plus 145 coming into this game. I think that the Yankees will be an overbet today. I think the Yankees pitching, it's not terrible. It's not good. It's somewhere in the middle. And I think that their top two starters are decent. But when you get to 3, 4, 5, it's a crapshoot situation. And I don't know how much longer they're going to let James Tallian be a starter as well, too. I think that guy is more suited for the bullpen, get you an inning or two in, and walk on down the road. I just don't trust people that play for the Pirates. You know what I mean? In the last few seasons, Mike. So, you know, I just don't trust guys that play for that team. Seriously, I think the only guy that they had that you could possibly say, okay, I can work with that is I think it was little Bell, who's not on the team anymore either. But that's because they didn't really have great hitters in the first place. But all in all, you look at the Yankees today, and you say to yourself, Yankees, you got Corey Kluber on the mound. Corey Kluber is not the same pitcher he was in Cleveland. Let's just keep it real there, okay? But he's still decent enough to get himself, you know, some good innings in the day. And Hyan John Yang on the Texas side. I know I said his name so wrong. Hyan John Yang. That pitcher, I think that his quirky style might be an issue for the Yankees and keep this game close. I don't say the Rangers win, but I do like them on the spread. What's your thoughts?
You know, the Yankees' terrible start to the season,
right,
is, in my mind, closer resembling who they really are than their hot streak. And I know people will call me crazy for that, but I don't think they have good pitching over longevity. Their number one is maybe the best pitcher in baseball. And then there's a huge, huge drop-off, Pop, from their 1 to their 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. And you just have to wonder how long it's going to hold up. Yeah, you're right. Kluber, he's kind of reinvented himself a little bit. He's had some injuries. He isn't the pitcher he was. But he's doing a nice job. He's going up against the Rangers that don't score a lot of runs, and they give up a lot of runs. So it would look very obvious that this is a Yankees win. And sometimes when it's so obvious, Pop, you have to go the other way. I'll take the Rangers plus 145 at home.
There it is. And there it is. See, sometimes you just got to throw it out there on the table, Mike. This is baseball. This isn't, you know, college football where you got Eastern Missouri going against USC today, and you know they're going to lose by, you know, USC is going to beat them by 72 points. You know what I mean? This is baseball. These are professional athletes, man. And it's a home game for them as well, too. You can always trust the home dog. You know that because you're playing off the crowd. So it is what it is. All right, so we go over to the Big A today, and we got ourselves a good one here with the Indians and the Angels. And guess who's on the mound today? Mr. Ohtani, one of the best hitters in the league. I don't know about being one of the better pitchers. I think he's a pitcher that has potential, but I think that they're going to figure out that he's going to be better service for them hitting. You know what I mean? I don't think doing the double duty of what he's doing on an American League team is good for a long-term career. You know what I mean, Mike? I think that all in all, that they got to decide what's the better choice with him. Do you have him pitch or do you have him hit? I would much rather see him hit because it seems like he's more consistent in the hitting category of things. And it was such a hype train of him coming in. And Ohtani hasn't done bad, but I don't think that he wowed us like a Hideo Nomo did. You know what I mean? He didn't do it. He didn't have Nomo mania. He didn't have Ohtani mania or anything with the Angels. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so pretty much it is what it is. And I do like the Angels today just because Ohtani's on the mound. And I think that the Indians is just ready to go home. So, they've been on a long West Coast trip. And I think that, pretty much they are ready to get back to Cleveland, get some good air in and things like that. I need to check their schedule though, because I think they still might be on the West Coast though after this as well too. So the Indians though, I don't know. They're a very fickle team this year, Mike. They're hard to trust. Okay, that's just my simple point. And yes, they'll be headed back to Cleveland after tonight for a 3-gamer with Minnesota Friday. So they looking forward to getting back home, getting some home cooking and things like that. So they might just might throw in a wrench tonight and say, you know what? Hey, good try, but it is what it is. We on the plane after this anyway. So, hey. So what do you think here, Mike?
This is probably one area where you and I have pretty strong disagreement on.
Okay.
Which is Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher. I think he's been fantastic, man. I think he's been superb. When you look at the numbers, he's got 5 games started so far this year. Has not taken a loss, has a 2.1 ERA, microscopic, and he's got 40 strikeouts in 25 innings pitched. 40. This guy's a legit big league pitcher. But he's such a good hitter. You have to wonder, do they risk an elbow injury, which pitchers get, and not and risk him missing playing time as a hitter? I think that's the big question mark. I'd say this. He's 26 years old. He's got the energy to do it. He wants to do it. You promised him you'd let him do it. You got to let him do it. You got to let him do it, man.
Right?
This is part of like the allure. It's why they brought him to Anaheim. You know what I mean? Like, injury possibilities come with the territory, bro.
Right.
I'd like to see him pitch and hit on the same day. They do it in the National League all the time. What's the problem? You know what I mean?
Right.
They hit in the National League all the time. There's no issue. Let's not make it a bigger issue than it is. Let's see this guy be great in both platforms, hitting and pitching. I like him. I like the Angels today. I think minus 125 is a good number. Let's roll with the Angels all the way to heaven.
And there it is. And there it is. All right, so let's get to the interleague game. Brewers at your Royals. Mikey Royals. Plus 150 today, Mike. Minus 185 to the Brewers today. Like you said last night, these games. When you get interleague games, all bets are off. Let's just be honest about that part, Mike. Be honest, because you could have the worst team in the American League beat the brakes off the best team in the National League if they link up. You know what I mean? And we've seen it happen plenty of times. So when I look at and when I look at this game right here, we got Corbin Burns pitching, and Corbin Burns has a losing record, but a really good ERA. 58 strikeouts over 1 walk. He's walked 1 player this year. And that's pretty amazing in a sense.
Historically good.
Yes. Will he be able to hold on to it? But, man, we'll see. He'll walk 5 in a row in the playoffs. Watch that. All right, but we got Brad Keller. Brad Keller is a good veteran. Even though his ERA is bad right now, he's 3-4, 29 strikeouts over 16 walks this year. But I don't think he's getting enough run support anyway. So, pretty much Brad Keller's a pitcher that goes in there and he's going to pitch to contact. So he needs runs behind him as well, too, to actually suffice, the mistakes that he's going to make. But he's still a good pitcher because people have to understand, guys are starting pitchers for a reason. They're not that bad. It's just that sometimes it's a mental thing in baseball. We both know this, Mike. And sometimes the mental just might not be there as much as you want it to be. But when you look at this situation, you say to yourself, the Brewers are actually starting to heat up. And they're looking really good, but actually they've dropped their last 4 out of 5. I'm sorry. Let me be factual here. And then you got the Royals. Your Royals doing better, 3 out of 5, but they're alternating wins and losses. When I see a team alternating wins and losses, it's usually a message to me that it's going to be a team that might be losing tonight. But I like the Brewers a lot because it's a pitcher that's 58 strikeouts over 1 walk. Mike, what's your thoughts?
These two teams are basically at or around 500 right now. The Brewers have been inconsistent all year long. Lorenzo Cain hasn't gotten going yet. Christian Yelich definitely hasn't got going yet. He's still trying to find his MVP form, and he hasn't been able to do so in kind of a while now, long enough where it's a little bit concerning. The Brewers are only in it because of their pitching, man. They've been dealing, especially Woodruff and Burns at the top, their middle relief, and their closer. They are superb. Maybe some of the best units in the National League or in all of baseball. The Royals, on the other hand, they've got some talent. They're still trying to put it together. It's a young team with some vets sprinkled in, and they were off to a very hot start, as we know. They've cooled off dramatically, but I think they have enough players with talent that they could kind of right the ship again and get things back on track. I think this matchup as a no touch makes a lot of sense, but I'm going to take the Royals here, man. They had a very big win yesterday against the Brewers, shutting them out 2-0. I think they carry that momentum and start themselves a little bit of a winning streak to get back on track. They're going to get to 500 by the end of the weekend. I'm taking the Royals.
There it is. Mike over here trying to make y'all money tonight. Plus 145 at home, plus 150 at home. Let's do this. Go ahead and do yourself a sexy daily double. And if you win out, you better tip Mike, all right? Mike Abadir on the Twitter. So y'all better take care of Mike if you go ahead and follow him down the yellow brick road. And hopefully you don't run into the wicked witches on the way there.
There you go.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Last game, Tigers at the Mariners. And Tigers-Mariners, oh boy. This is a fun little series, you know what I mean? Teams that are very similar in a sense, but what I like a lot about the Mariners is they're a fun bunch, man. They are a fun bunch. And you know what? They just take it one game at a time, and it looks like this is going to be an absolute it could be fireworks in this game because both these pitchers are very bad. You know what I mean? You got one guy who's 0-6 coming in to reach schoolball, and then you got Logan Gilbert who's 0-1, but, it looks like that was on debut against Cleveland, and that was on debut. Now we got the debut out the way, so what do we do now? You know what I mean, Mike? But all in all, I think that we tell ourselves that we have ourselves in a position where the Tigers and the Mariners are going to be pretty darn good this year. So, well, not pretty darn good. I'm over here just exaggerating, but they're going to be they're going to be teams that when I say good, I mean good for your pockets, Mike. You get what I'm saying? Days when you pick on them, they'll make you some money. You feel what I'm saying? That's how I feel with the Tigers and the Mariners. But most times you'll probably be betting against them. But the Mariners, you can work with them a little bit. But when I look at this, the Mariners, you got to get that batting average together. 30th in the league, 199. Golly, Mike, I think I could be hitting 250 for the Mariners right now.
Yeah, I don't know how a big league club hits 199.
2 weeks at the rookie camp.
I don't know how, as a team, you bat 199. I don't get it.
I haven't seen that ever in the MLB.
No, not this far into the season.
Right.
We're 43 games in, man.
Right. But they have 19 more runs on the year than they do.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. So I don't know what that's telling me. So pretty much
what it's telling me is if they start scoring some runs and can stop striking out so much, that they're going to be a formidable team. That's what it tells me, man. Look, anytime you're going up against the Detroit Tigers, it's an opportunity to get healthy. You got to take advantage of those opportunities against them. You got to feast on them if you want to be competitive in this league. You have to. And so the Mariners, 43 games in, they're 5 games out. They've got 2 really, really tough division rivals in front of them in the A's and the Astros. If they have any chance to be discussed in September, you got to beat teams like the Tigers, man. And I think they do. I think they do so tonight. I actually think that the minus 150 is value going up against a Detroit Tigers team that is terrible on the road. They've played 21 road games and have only won 7 of them. I'm taking the Mariners minus 150 against a subpar pitcher, Tariq Skubal.
All right. So Skubal, we'll see what you can do, buddy. But all in all, though, you know what time it is, Mike. You know. And we'll have ourselves a pretty good day today. Hopefully, we can go ahead and make some money out this primetime pick 6. I don't have a big ticket like I had yesterday, 102-1, but we should make some money today, man. That's how I feel. That's how I definitely feel. Is that
agreed?
We should be making some money today out this power pick 6. So, you know what, Mike? I got you here. Hang out with me a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers real fast, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk a little NBA preview, a little WNBA. We'll skim through that, and then we'll talk some tickets real quick. Okay, is you with that, brother?
I'm with it.
All right, so let's go ahead and check it out. One of our proud sponsors, Stacy Adams. Stacy Adams, you guys get sharp, get yourself tripped up, 10% off LNK 10. You guys go ahead and check them out. Go to stacyadams.com and you guys go ahead and get yourself situated on me. Okay, so the link is right there in the show description, and there it is. All right, so with that, we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube. All right. Okay, so pretty much I'm manning everything right now, Mike, so just pardon me a little bit. I'm guessing my graphics guy lost his connection So no biggie. You know, that's what DBA. That's what the teamwork aspect is for, Mike.
Exactly.
Everybody got to know everybody's job, man. You know that, Mike.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So pretty much, man, let's get into it, man. Stay the Lakers. We have ourselves the Lakers coming into I'm kind of greened out, but it's all right. It's all right. They can hear me and Mike. Lakers coming in here, 7th seed, going against 3-time champions in the last half decade, the Warriors. And once again, Curry versus LeBron. Very classic matchup now in the NBA. That has turned into our bird magic of the latter 2010s and the early 2000s, 20s, I'm guessing, right, Mike? Just in a second.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. What you think?
Here's the thing about the Lakers right now, and I assume you want to get into the matchups with the Warriors. Is that
Yes.
Is that what you want to talk about a little bit here? Because I think this is unfortunately an early matchup that I would love to see a little bit later on. It just doesn't work out that way right now. You know what I mean? Based on the records and stuff. But wouldn't you want to see this, Curry against LeBron head to head one more time, reminiscent of those mid 2015 NBA finals between the Cavs and the Warriors? This is a new reinvented version of the Lakers, a new reinvented version of the Golden State Warriors. Warriors got sizzling hot towards the end of the year, man. They've won 6 in a row. They're really, really dealing. The Lakers got hot, winners of 5 in a row. They've been dealing after they were reeling. It's an absolutely great matchup. I'm excited for this. I don't get excited very often for NBA matchups until you get late in the year. We're late in the year. This is when it counts. And, man, I think this is going to be a fun game. It's going to be a battle.
Well, what I look at, Mike, this is my game. This is my little 2 cents right here with this, Mike. Let's say this right now. The NBA will love this. The Lakers and Warriors play tonight. The winner, it doesn't matter. I feel like both teams will wind up winning. If they have to play a second playing game, one of them is going to have to do it. They'll win that second game. The Grizzlies and Spurs are not better than the Lakers and Warriors right now. And the only threat you might have is the Spurs. But the Spurs are so ready to go home right now. I feel, you know what I mean? But I think that they can win this game tonight. But I feel like they ready to kind of call it a season a little bit. You know what I mean? But all in all, though, when I look at this, I say to myself, the Warriors and Lakers got the first opportunity to ever have the 7th and 8th seed face off in the conference finals. Just because they're championship prowess of players that are a part of the unit. You got Dre and Steph, three-time champions. You got LeBron, 3-time champion, AD, 1-time champion. You know what I mean? And I think that they have what you have. They have the glow. They have the actual sensibility that it takes to win a championship. Donovan Mitchell ain't never been past the second round. Phoenix Suns haven't been to the playoffs in a decade. And the Denver Nuggets are dealing with no Jamal Murray, even though Jokic is their best player at this moment. We all know Jamal Murray's the guy that puts them over the top because he's the guy that's going to go one-on-one. He's going to hit the clutch 3. He's going to get the good and one. He's going to do all that. And the Clippers, Kawhi said it. They have no chemistry. It's that simple. Don't nobody get along on that team. You know what I mean? He can't depend on Paul George to be great. You know, Paul George is going to show up when Paul George want to show up. And then Luka and the gang, they just kind of fell into stuff. You know what I mean? Because the Lakers weren't that good at some point at one point in the season. And then the Blazers, come on, we know the Blazers. Dame will probably have a good first round series, throwing up shots from half court, and then they're going to get put out in the second round. Because, you know, Dame has to shoot the ball from 45 feet out all the time. You know, I know everybody loves it, but as a coach, a general manager, he'd have been off my team a long time ago. He's a baller. He's good. But we can do stuff like that in Minnesota and stuff like that, and Chicago and all these bad teams, Orlando, trick shots for the crowd at halftime. You know what I mean? But when you're really playing for championships and things like that, stop sacrificing so much to look good for ESPN. You know what I mean? He's hit a lot of buzzer beaters. He's good. He's nothing wrong with him. But that's how I feel, Mike. This seems like it could be an easy run once the Lakers and Warriors get done with each other here tonight. I think that they're going to motivate each other to run the table here in the playoffs. How you feel about that, Mike? And then we'll move on to the games.
Wow. I think you make a good point, man. I think you make a good point. Like I said, I'd love to see this matchup a little bit later on in the playoffs. Yeah, man, I think either of these teams not just can, but they probably will go on a run, man. Unfortunately, I think that the Phoenix Suns are going to be a tough matchup for whoever ends up facing them. But I don't know why. I just feel that the Utah Jazz are beatable, man. Same thing with the Denver Nuggets. I know Denver had a nice run last year, but I don't know, man. That's just my gut feeling. That's what my gut tells me. I think that the teams 5 through 8 are going to be pulling some upsets this year. Mark my words. Teams 5 through 8 will be pulling some upsets.
Yes, I feel that as well, too. And I think that the Clippers are a first-round exit. Yeah, I said it, Clipper fans. And it ain't because don't think that I'm trying to dog y'all out or anything, because they get real emotional about that. Because I even had a Clipper fan tell me the other day, damn, Pop, can you ever talk about the Clippers? What am I going to talk about? Your coach that folds his arms and thinks he's a good coach? Your superstar / guy that's supposed to be big time who only plays about 50 games a year. He's only played about 50 games, about 100 games total in 2 years that he's been with the team. You know what I mean? Then you got your guy, Paul, PG-13, playoff P or sleeping P or whatever he wants to be called. You know what I mean? There's nothing to talk about here. You know what I mean? There's nothing to see here. You know what I mean? That's how I feel with the Clippers, And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but the Clippers are the biggest hype job I've seen in the last decade, dude. You know what I mean? They remind me a lot of those Charles Barkley teams when he was getting together, like when Phoenix got together, but they didn't get to the championship. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about when you had Marley and all these guys, and they just couldn't get to where they needed to get to, even though they had a championship guy with them. A guy can get you to a championship. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel, bro. And I just really do feel like the Mavs will be the winner of that series. They got revenge on their mind, and there's no Trez there this year as well, too. Trez was a big piece to that Clipper team, and I see them missing him a lot. And I think Trez is going to be huge for the Lakers in the playoffs, to be honest with you, Mike.
Agreed with all your points, man. 100%.
Right. And you gave me that face at first. I thought you were going to be like, I wholeheartedly disagree about the Clippers.
I've defended the Clippers far too long, man.
Clipper gonna Clipper.
I've defended the damn Clippers far too long. I'm done defending them.
Clippers gonna Clipper.
Yeah. I mean? They're gonna get clipped. They're gonna get their wings clipped.
It is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this first playoff game. You got the Spurs at the Mavs tonight. You got a 4-point favorite in the Grizzlies. I think this game should be a lot closer than it looks on paper. So I really do like the way that the Spurs can come into this game and get a big upset tonight. I'm just gonna bet on Greg P tonight, Mike. That's all I'm thinking about. Betting on Greg P, and that's it, and that's all. So what are your thoughts?
Grizzlies
tonight?
Yep.
All right, so Mike's on the Grizzlies. I'm on the Spurs.
You said it, man. The Spurs want to go home.
But not tonight, though, Mike. They're going home. The Warriors. They go home?
They're going home. They get the Southwestern Tex-Mex will be on their plates tonight.
1, 2, 3 Cancun?
There you go.
Cabo. Cabo, we'll see you next week, right? DeMar, everybody next week. Gone fishing tonight? Okay, so San Antonio, Mike said that you're going fishing tonight. Pop didn't say that.
They're going home, man.
They're going home.
Look, they've lost 4 in a row. Teams that peak advance.
Right.
Teams that get on losing streaks go home. Quite simple.
Right. All right. And then we got the Lakers, and we just talked about it. So I like the over here. Let's just be smart, Mike. You know what I mean? Over and walk on down the road. You know what I mean? Over, walk on down the road, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I like the over.
Yep.
But I'll take the points.
Warriors?
I'll take the points, yeah.
Warriors, okay.
This should be a closer matchup. This should come down to the final possession or two. This is going to be a matchup where you're just hoping that the team you need to make free throws makes them.
Right.
And the team that you're going against misses some.
Right.
It's probably going to be that kind of close matchup spread-wise.
Right. So you're right. That's why they're over stretching the boundaries with the Lakers right now. I don't think the Lakers should be a 5.5 point favorite. And this is coming from a Laker loyal. I think it should be 3.5. You have to respect Golden State a bit more in the situation. And then saying, okay, it's okay. You know what I mean? So pretty much that's what it is right there. So we over here got a phone call going right now as well, too. So pretty much it is what it is. We got Brendan Gibbons on the phone right now on the live show. What's up, Brendan, calling in?
What up?
What's up, Brendan?
So what's up, Brendan? Who do you like here? Lakers or the Warriors?
I'm a big Steph guy, but again, you said earlier to have 2, 3, 4 guys that are deep and have a bunch of other guys around them. They're in playoff mode. You got playoff LeBron been resting. I really think they have a good chance to make it to that final and probably play the Nets. It's a fantastic game.
Yes, but we want Warriors-Lakers conference final. That would be epic. 7th, 8th seed, and prove to the NBA that, you know what, these guys were just hurt this year. Warriors got out to a slow start. The Lakers ran into some bumps in the road. But now we're in the playoffs, and the best players in the conference are now lining it up for the chance to go to the finals. What you think about that?
Steph can score 60 points.
Right.
That's a lot of points, and just needs a few other players to score a few more. But if Steph goes off and just shoots half-court shots, you can't defend that. You can lose a game if Steph scores 60 points. And, Dame does it all the time. Damian Lillard scores about 55, 60 points and gets the wins for his teams because he just needs a little help. A few other guys score 10, 15 points, and you're there.
All right. So there it is. So we got ourselves a game tonight. That's all, because Mike's literally letting me know we have ourselves a game tonight. And you letting me know that we have a game. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I was gonna talk WNBA, but let's just get into talking tickets. Ain't nobody worried about that right now. All right, so there we are, talking tickets. 47-1 ticket tonight, over 7.5 with the Marlins and the Phillies. I know I'm tripping, Mike, but I think we're going to get some scoring here, Mike. I think Eflin's going to be the guy that's going to get hit tonight as well, too. And what are you thinking about that? Oh, Mike?
I think that it's a good pitching matchup, and a lot of times you'll find that when you get these good pitching matchups, it doesn't live up to the billing. So, I think the over 7.5, it's a reasonable number. I think it's going to be stressful for over players until late. And then the bullpens are going to falter for both of these teams. Not just one, both teams' bullpens falter. It pushes you into the winning category.
Let's get it, Mike. Then we got the Red Sox money line. We both agreed on that. We already talked about that. We're both on the Rangers tonight, but I'm taking spread. You're taking money line. Angels, I'm on them. You're going to be on the Indians tonight, correct?
No, I'm on the Angels too. Shohei.
Okay, we're it's the Ohtani party for all of us tonight. Brewers tonight as well too, but you're taking the Royals, so I'm taking.
I think that's only one where we're going different directions.
Right, and then I'm tripping, but this is going against the public because the public's going to look at the ERAs and say, you know what, I got to get into the over in this game, but I'm going to take the under 8 with the Tigers and the Mariners.
These teams get hit.
Right, because we got a team coming in here with a 199 batting average. Come on, that's terrible. Terrible. Single what you like, 47-1. Primetime pick 6. All right, there we are, Mike. WNBA Primetime pick 4, 17-1 tonight. I'm going with the Chicago Sky in that spot, 5.5. They're going against a team that they should be able to get a good win over, but that guarantees absolutely nothing here because it's the WNBA, and you got to understand that some days they just not going to show up, okay? It is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's early in the season, too, so some teams get a little bit of spirit behind them. But, Mike's giving me that face like, I don't do WNBA.
Never watched a WNBA game. I don't intend to watch a WNBA game.
Then,
I love women's sports, soccer and tennis especially. WNBA, it's just not for me.
I got you. And then we had the under 161.5 Fever in the Sun. These names, bro, I know.
Which one's hotter, the Fever or the Sun?
Who has that? See, that dude, just let me stop because I'm gonna get myself in trouble because things start racing through your head when you hear the names of the teams. You know what I mean? Like the Sky, like, do they have a lot of angels on that team? You know what I mean? So then you have the Spurs night, dog of the day, Spurs plus 160. And then we have ourselves the over 218.5 Warriors Lakers. And that's going to be a wrap on the Talking Tickets segment for today. So there it is. All right. So once again, man, Mike, go ahead and let the people know where they can go ahead and get that 100X coin at.
Yeah. So if you want, follow me on Twitter at Mike Abadir, ABADIR. And I'm always tweeting about 100X coin. You could find out more about 100X coin by going to 100, the number 100xcoin.io. That's the website. You can find out more information there about where you could buy it. It's listed on 3 exchanges and growing, plus Pancake Swap. I also do a YouTube video, or did a YouTube video on how to buy 100X coin. So there's plenty of resources out there. Reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to guide you through it. There's a couple of little tricky road bumps here and there. You're not going to find it on Coinbase just yet, but talk to me. I'll help you navigate through the choppy waters.
All right. You guys already know. Catch him at Mike Abadir on the Twitter. And also, you guys make sure to tune into Mike's show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific time on it's Radio America, correct?
It's on Voice America Radio Network.
Voice America Network. And you guys already know that's national. And you guys will catch my boy, former TVG analyst, Gino Bacola. Gino was too good for the show. So you know what? He had to go and do his own. You know what I mean? We're going to bring Gino in one of these days as well, too. Gino's a busy man, but we'll try to get Gino in here one of these days as well so me and him can have some good wrestling talk. Some good talk for the WWE people. But as usual, though, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show. I thank my guests and my Wednesday correspondent, Mike Abadir. It's always a pleasure to have you on my show as well, brother. And I look forward to being back on your show as well, too, whenever you need me. And hopefully, if you're not too busy this weekend, we'll be at Santa Anita Friday afternoon. So you already know what time it is. And pretty much you guys already know. Bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, and we are gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best.